Ayo, Chris Thomas here. I'm here with Jack Costello. So Jack Costello is someone I've known for quite a few years, and I met Jack at a time, or connected with Jack and got a chance to work with Jack at a time when he was playing baseball. He was just getting ready to finish his high school career as both a baseball and football player, and was having an opportunity to go play D1 baseball, and really felt like he was in a great mental space, and probably wasn't real sure how I was going to come into play in his life because he felt pretty good. And then we had a chance to talk. So he and I decided to work together. It was an amazing experience. We learned so much about this whole game within the game with the bat and the ball. And then he had this episode that is potentially the experience that everyone has, right? I've had it myself, where he went from this guy who was so prepared for success to a guy who, like, all of a sudden found himself in this abyss and did not know, as strong as he was and as many tools as he had, did not know how to get out of it. And I want you to hear that, because he's like all of us. We're all human. We all can be broken in any given moment. And there's a point where if we get broken enough and chopped down enough, that we will talk ourselves into exactly what we don't want. And so you'd known me for years through a football program. You've watched guys in my football program that had no business being great become dudes.
Yeah.
So tell that story and talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, I met Chris probably back when I was like 8 years old, when my older brother was throwing to your receivers. And then towards the end of my high school career, I met up with you and threw to one of your receivers getting ready. And we had just a really good talk about just addressing the mental game and applying that and how we can apply it to sports. And something that just kind of really clicked with me. And I remember our small conversation, we talked about hyper focus, being able to lock in. And then we got done with that throwing session, and then I was like, I really want to connect with you from a baseball side and really work with you. And met up with you right before I was going out to play summer league going into my freshman year. And we were just really able to address some things on the baseball side and playing a game within the game that we talked about, and just kind of making our game smaller. And we're not really playing the game of baseball, we're just playing our own game, and it's so minuscule and so precise that we leave room for error for ourselves. If we miss in our game, we're still exceeding at a very high level in that game of baseball.
How much of an eye-opener was it the first day you came out and you're doing the little web glove catching balls, and like you're like, dude, I can't catch this at all, like
Yeah.
What's going on? All of a sudden, like, understanding what the game was, and then like flipping the switch and like, dude, I'm doing something that's so hard right now over and over again.
Yeah, and it was just doing that over and over and over again. And we were using the small ball and the little web glove, and we were hitting it with a little stick bat, and I was swinging and missing, or like missing it. I'm like, dude, I'm going to play Division I baseball, and like I can't even catch this thing or like make contact. I remember like the harder I tried, it was like I wasn't going to do it. And then when I just kind of like relaxed and I was like, all right, just let yourself do this and just put a good swing on it. And then like that's when it clicked for me on like just letting myself do it, because I know I'm fully capable of doing it, and we're all capable of doing what we want to do. That just let yourself do it and you'll get out of your own way.
The funny thing is, when you first swung, so we had done like some tee work stuff, some like small real hard baseball stuff, but then we did, okay, second day we're together, I'm gonna pitch to you these little foam balls.
Yep.
You're gonna have a thunder stick that has no barrel. I'm gonna pitch really slow and chill. And trust me, it's hard. And I'm sure in your head you were like, oh, of course I'm gonna hit the ball. Like,
yeah.
And then what happened? And
Didn't
then
hit the ball.
Yeah.
I did hit the ball, and it was just over and over again through like one of those little buckets, and I wasn't touching you. You're like, here you go, give me the bat, go pitch to me. And I was like, all right, Chris, like I don't know. I've never seen you swing. I thought the first one in, boom. I'm like, geez, like 5 in a row, just boom, boom, boom. And you're like, there you go, that's how you do it. And I was like, wow. And he's like, you're like, want to know something else? I'm not even left-handed.
Yeah, and I was
and
doing it from the left side.
You did it from the left side, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow. And you just kind of really just opened my eyes on being able to like connect from the mental side and just letting yourself do it. That really stuck with me. And then I went on to play in a summer league that summer going into my freshman year.
Before there, though, it's important people understand you went there going like, I'm going to be a dude. I'm so ready to go dominate. They're going to see this dude. You had the right approach and you had the right thoughts, but those thoughts could actually wreak havoc the moment we don't get what we want, because then in our eyes we're failing the goal and the expectation of going in, which can totally create pressure, right?
Sure.
So is it true you're in a great mental place?
Yeah, I was in a great place going in. Felt really good about just everything of my game as a whole. I was barreling up balls, just right at guys, and then as the offer kind of continued, it started putting a little more stress on like, all right, I need to get results, where I started kind of drifting away from my game. And I remember I called you and talked to you, and you're like, well, what's your thought process? Like, what's your game we're playing? I was like, I've totally like gotten away from it. I haven't been doing it.
And so backtrack so people know, you were 0 for what?
I was 1 for 27.
Oh, okay, you're 1 for 27.
Yeah.
And then you said it reached a climax point when like you went to go do batting practice and you're like, I literally felt like I forgot how to swing.
Yeah. And I was hitting BP, and I'm just like, dude, and I was just getting frustrated with myself after every single swing. I talked to you, you'd call me or checking in, how's everything going? I was like, honestly, it's not going good. Like, this is what's kind of happening. And you're like, well, what's the game you're playing? And I was like, I kind of really drifted away from what we had been talking about. And I remember that day, I went back in just like, all right, I'm going to get back to what we're talking about. Like, I don't care who's on the mound. This guy's not beating me. Like, I'm in the box, and I'm just going to play my game. I'm going to take the barrel to the ball and be super precise and play a smaller game than I have been. And I remember I got a couple knocks that day, and then it was like, and then it just kind of started rolling from there, where the results just kind of, I let it happen. And then the second half of the summer, I ended up hitting 500 on the summer, or 500 in that second half, and just like felt like I couldn't get out, and I was just dominating. And then that kind of rolled into my freshman fall. Went back in that January, and we started inter-squatting and having live ABs and stuff, and I was like, I'm really going to be connected with who I am, what my game is, and I'm not going to change it for anyone, and I'm just going to stay consistent with myself, and I'm not going to do it for anyone. I'm not going to do it for my friends, parents, coaches. No, I'm doing it for me, and I'm just going to play the game that I play.
And the game is between you, the bat, and the what?
And the ball.
Yeah.
It wasn't me against anyone else. It wasn't me against the field or anything.
Right, got to get a
any of the
hit.
conditions. I got to get a hit. It was like, I'm doing this for me. I'm going to go up there. I'm going to put the best swing I possibly can on it. I'm going to put it on the barrel, and then that's what I control. I'm just going to let that happen. And I was able to find repeated success in that January and that preseason, and then ended up third game of the year, got a pinch hit opportunity, went in there, barreled the ball, got another opportunity, barreled the ball, and then just never came out of the lineup the rest of the year. My whole freshman year, where I found the most success throughout that year, it was just me staying consistent on me just playing my game and not doing it for anyone else, and not thinking about anything else except me, the ball, and the bat. And it was just over and over, just like kind of going back on the thoughts and work that we put in together on me being able to find that hyper focus that we talked about and be able to lock in as I'm at the plate, where it's just me and the ball and nothing else is in my mind except that ball. So that's where I was able to find the most success throughout that year.
And then the result of that was you became a freshman what?
Freshman All American, was able to start all but 2 games, and then be able to roll that into this past year to be another returning starter and start all of our games, and end up being just a leader and a captain on our team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that most athletes, I don't care how good they are right now, I don't care what level of sport they're playing, do you think most athletes, youth athletes, have a clue about the mental game in any capacity as you now know it?
No clue.
And what's interesting is people believe that if I just do more physical and technical work, then I'm going to set myself to get what I want. That, in my experience, couldn't be further from the truth.
Yeah.
But it's what people's default system is, right? Anyone wants to be great. They're like, well, let's hire a technical coach and go work on this, and let's get faster and bigger and stronger, and that's going to solve all the problems. Yet, in my estimation, the emotional game, which is part of the mental game, right? The psychological, intellectual, emotional, that is what wreaks havoc on so many athletes and can send them into a really dark place where they cannot fight their way out of it.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
100%. So if you have an idea of how to be able to understand, to work your mind and be able to address how it works, how you think about yourself, how you think about a sport or anything, and be able to understand that, it'll only help you unlock levels of your life that you thought that you wouldn't even be able to achieve.
Yeah.
And you can find yourself as a separator from anyone else in the sport that you're playing or whatever you want to do, because at the end of the day, every single athlete is capable of going out to the field, doing footwork, doing sprint work, hitting, throwing. But if you find ways to find that separator, and that can be from working your mental side, then you'll be able to excel and just blow past those guys, because they're gonna not know what you're doing because you're just out there dominating. You're on a whole nother level. And I think we're able to see that with the greatest in the world and professional athletes, they're able to unlock something different because there's so many people that are capable and they have the abilities, but there's that little difference maker, and that's, I think, in between the ears on what you can do and how you can accomplish it.
You can look at Simone Biles as the greatest example, the best gymnast in the world, who worked 4 years to go to the Olympics, gets to the Olympics, now for the first time sees pressure that she never felt about how great she was supposed to be, and like has this fear of failing that's so great that she talked herself into forgetting literally how to do her exercises, to the point where she's like, I literally could hurt myself. And it showed when she tried to like fight through it. She like literally almost destroyed herself, if you saw it. And that's how fast it can grab you, even when you are the best of the best of the best at your craft, right? And so what you're saying is what I know, and that is that if you're not unlocking the mental game, what you are denying yourself of is, one, being able to take ownership of your experience,
100%.
right? Two, being able to create a pathway between you and the quintessential you, like the you that has always been in you, that you would never unlock unless you unlock the mind, because that's such a huge part of your greatness and unlocking it, right? Where the mind starts like connecting to your action completely different when the mind is directing you to the action. It's not just, okay, here are my mechanics. No, it's like the mind going, here's what I need your body to do.
Exactly.
Right? And so it's not going to question. It's like, this is the game, body. I want you to listen. This is the game. So let's go out and play this game right here. It doesn't matter that it's hard. We know it's hard. So because it's hard, the mind needs to go like this to win this game. That's hyper focus that you were talking about, right? And so like there's this whole other world that exists for us potentially that literally changes our sense of self, but it changes how we feel in regards to the success that we're now experiencing.
I think that's kind of hit it spot on. Like being able to, how you view yourself and unlock that in the mind, that's the biggest part, I think, because the confidence that you have being able to go out onto the field to do your craft and just let yourself do it and let it happen is the biggest thing as an athlete.
Is that a total game changer?
Yeah, total game
Can you even
changer.
quantify that?
No, you can't even that's just like, it changes the how you view yourself and the success that you'll have in your game.
And so people are always like, man, like so you work with volleyball and tennis and baseball and soccer and basketball and football, and it's like, well, how do you know all those sports? It's like, what I know is connection. And once I know what your action is, then I'm going to create a different connection and intention and hyper focus between your mind and that action, and you're going to do that action in a way that blows your mind. Because you've never understood how to find that pathway, because you keep trying to do it from the body.
It's that mind-body connection, because your mind's in control 24/7. And then your body's just kind of following the orders from your mind. So being able to understand how I can unlock that and work the mind to be at its best, my body will just take care of the rest. But the mind is the one that's going to be in control for sure. JC,
what would you tell people if they had a chance to find me online and like take my course, look at my video series, get a chance to work with me physically, or just consult with me, or in any capacity work with me? What would you tell those people?
I'd tell them take advantage of it, because it's definitely something that you won't regret. And I think not a lot of people know how to address this game or know it's even out there to be able to get that hyper focus and be able to develop that side of your mind. I think it's something very powerful, and it's not really addressed anywhere else. Chris has a unique ability to be able to connect with athletes in all sports and be able to address the side of the mental game and be able to unlock a different side of your mind to be able to let your body do what it needs to do on the field and get yourself to be at an advantage than any other person. Being able to have and understand that mind-body connection that Chris is able to help you with and be able to unlock that side of your mind, it just will help you overall in your game and in your life.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate that, JC. Jack Costello, USD Baseball, a dude. Look for him because he'll be the guy that's producing, okay? We'll holler at you.